Happy Monday, everybody. Welcome back to another edition of Happy Hour. I'm your host, Hayden Humphrey, and I'm very excited today for my special guest, one of my best friends since the sixth grade.
I think the War of Yom Kippur War, but it was
out. That's right. I get confused sometimes.
Understandable.
Very long time. Very good friend of mine, Mr. Ethan Braun Quastler. Ethan, how the heck are you?
I'm doing great. Thank you for having me on the show, and thanks for hosting all these. I think it's gives a nice source of entertainment, I think, for everyone, and we all love seeing your face, so we appreciate you putting all these together.
Oh, thanks, Ethan.
And a good excuse to have Moscow.
Yes, exactly. Yes, cheers. For those of the folks watching that don't know you, Ethan, can you tell us a little bit about you and what you're up to?
Okay, so my name is Ethan Quastler, as Hayden might have mentioned. I am working for Southwest Airlines right now, so very grateful to have a job still, and just enjoying working from home life. Went to Ohio University with Hayden after graduating high school with him. So as he said, we've been friends since middle school, high school, and went to OU together. We actually ended up being in the same dorm next to, like literally next door when we did not request anything. So I think that's one of those things. But we went there. I studied aviation and flight instructed at OU for a bit, and then have been working at Southwest Airlines in Dallas since. So I've been enjoying my time here and with a great company, and enjoying the weather until this Texas summer hits.
Hell yes. Team, I think that my favorite thing about you, one of my favorite things about you, is you are just one of the most selfless, kind people that I know. Like just so incredibly giving. Yes. And it's interesting in, thinking about the people that I am now surrounded with and how intentionally I'm really looking at, like, I only really want people in my life that are the good people, and that are, committed to kindness and helping other people. And I think that's just you. To the core.
Hey, I really appreciate that. And that means a lot. And I think it's something that we, surround ourselves with people who are similar. So I hope the absolute mutual that it goes for you too. And I think we both owe it to our parents. I think our parents are very selfless and hopefully passed on those genes to us.
Yeah. Shout out Trisha, Ayal, Thad, Rebecca. You guys are crushing it.
Yes, they are.
I love it. Well, team, the question that I love to start out this show with, and for those of you watching, also feel free to comment your answers in the comment section below. But team, what is making you happy right now?
I'm happy that the Texas summer hell has not hit yet, because every morning for the past 30 days, I've been able to go no cheat days, do a long hour bike ride and some push-ups, tricep dips, upper body workout with no equipment. So that's kind of been making me happy. I feel like when I start off my day productively like that, then it's like everything else goes well. My work life is so much better. The quality of life, work-life balance. I mean, I just enjoy the rest of the day so much more. So I would say that's making me happy, and the idea of a possible Hotbox Squared game that I would love to put together. I saw a ad the other day that, as you know, our friend Malcolm sent me. It's called CrossNet, which is like a volleyball net but in quadrants. So it's two volleyball nets horizontal, and they kind of stole our whole concept from our 14 Franklin house, as you've been in it, and the basement. Arena, which was basically 4 square upside down. So it was like a hotbox line drawn on the ground, and you hit a ball off the ceiling to go into somebody else's quadrant. They hit it back off the ceiling to you. So seeing that whole product, and they actually have, they sell it to volleyball teams around the world and so forth. I'm like, I think we could really make a great product called Hotbox Squared that is similar, but it would be a net that starts from the ground rather than up top like volleyball, and really try to get this Hotbox concept out to everyone.
I love that so much. I hope that you have sent your lawyers and legal team after.
I did. I was kind of pissed off that I didn't get I should have gotten a patent for it from the very beginning.
They've obviously stolen your concept. Well, I can't wait to buy this product when it comes out. So put me on the pre-order list.
I will, because we had I remember 14 Franklin would like knock on our door and ask about playing, and they all knew that it was called Hotbox. They'd come down and play a few games, and our landlord even said somebody always does something different with the basement every, the 10 years that he's been in charge of that house. So he even played a game with us and said he'd keep it in the lease for future tenants so that they have an idea of what to do. So
heck yeah, it's awesome. Love that. I think what's making me happy is I have recently started a new approach to time blocking my schedule and how I prioritize things. And it has been a total game changer. Like today, I spent the majority of the day just working on content, like creating content for Facebook and LinkedIn and my website. And like, I just felt super in the zone. I felt really focused. And it's just a very nice feeling when I don't feel like I'm frantic and running around and don't know what I'm doing. And I'm like, this is when I put this time to do this thing. I put this time to do this thing. So
absolutely. No, that's awesome. And I know Tyler mentioned it last episode, but he's an idiot and I'm better than him. So I'll say it in a better way, is that I really liked the organizational calendar you put together regarding that, where you actually hold yourself accountable to say, hey, these are the days that I'm going to do this and that, and you'll mark it off and you'll hold yourself accountable if you have a cheat day, So I think that's something that, at least for me, I totally identify with it. Little OCD organization skills to just make sure that you have something like that to keep track of everything.
Most definitely. Also, Tyler wanted me to remind you that you still owe him a flight over campus.
Well, I did hear that, and I would be glad to take him if he would have just let me know that he was interested. Like if he would have just talked about that like once or twice in college, I would have been like, yeah, man, let's take you over campus. I flew Hayden, Sierra, and Thaddeus. Shout out to all of them. They, I think, all enjoyed. They all got to fly the plane for a bit. And Tyler, he just never told me that he was interested. If he would have mentioned it to me a couple of times, I would have easily taken him over. So next homecoming, we'll make it happen. And I do hope to get an invite to him to London, though. It's pretty cool that he's living there. And I'm a little hurt. We've never received invites to visit. So once that happens, we can return that with a flight over OU's campus.
I love that. I totally get where you're coming from. Tyler, it's kind of hard to tell. He's very deadpan a lot of the time. Yeah. He doesn't have a lot of energy. Just not a very positive person. So,
very introverted. You don't talk, every time you try to talk to him, you never really understand what's on his mind or what he's trying to get across.
Totally. So we actually have a question from the audience, Ethan, for you. Ben Golden says, what are you hotboxing?
Benny G, we are hotboxing with an actual ball that you use. It's kind of like the size of a racquetball, but it's softer than that. So you hit it off the top of the ceiling, comes back to the ground, and it has enough bounce that the other person in that quadrant has a chance to return it to the other quadrant. So that would be my answer to that. Now, I don't know what else he might be referring to, but he's able to pregame any which way he wants, whether it's with a Moscow Mule or whatever he feels is appropriate. There's no rules to that game about playing intoxicated.
Totally. Yeah, thanks for answering that. We also have another comment from Mr. Larry Rosen. You guys are always smiling, and I mean always.
Lorenzo is the man. As you know, he was our second dad growing up, and we're so grateful to have him in our lives.
Larry, appreciate the heck out of you, man. Ethan, we move on to the second and very closely related question of the show, which is, what are you most grateful for today?
I would say I am most grateful for my family's health and my friends' health. My parents, I think, above all. I know my mom is very high risk, so I'm very grateful that they are in good health and staying at home in Ohio and enjoying the quarantine as much as they can with our Quastler dogs, and grateful for all my friends' health as well. Now, mine, I don't really care about. But everybody else, I really am grateful for that, and I hope it continues as this COVID craziness is hopefully on the decline. How about yourself?
I would say just like my community and my support system. I feel very fortunate to have people like yourself in my life. And I think especially now, just given everything that's happening, like I used to live by myself here in Chicago. I was in a 1-bedroom for a while, and then I moved into a 2-bedroom with my roommate, Christian. And I'm just very, very grateful to be living with someone else because it makes a huge difference. Honestly, I don't know where I would be or what I would be doing if I didn't at least have like someone that I could interact with. And I think for us too, like I've also been really grateful recently for us being able to like hang out. I bought an Xbox recently. Ethan and I have been playing, and it's so funny. I don't know if I told you this, but I was like, the thing that I really appreciate about that is like then we just get to like hang out and like shoot the shit for like an hour and a half while we play. And I was like, I really appreciate that.
I love that.
You know what I mean? It's like it's not even necessarily about the game. Like, yeah, that's great. It's just like you and I get to like kick it.
Absolutely. No, I've loved that part of it too. And getting Jared and Patrick on has been awesome to kind of have the whole team together and like you said, shooting the shit with each other, catching up, and just having fun.
Totally, man. Well, we move into the next segment of this show, Ethan, which is personally one of my favorites, and that's the random question of the day. Ethan, are you ready for your random question?
I was born ready.
All right. I love your enthusiasm and confidence. Ethan, I am generating your random question now. Ethan, what's an interesting fact that you recently learned?
That's a really good question. The one before, I'm glad I didn't get it because the naps don't really have much of an opinion on. And the one Tyler got last week I thought was good because it said, what would you be able to not do for $1 million? And I first thing that came to my mind when I was reading that one was that I would not buy the iPhone for $1 million. Like I wouldn't. So recently, an interesting fact that I recently learned, honestly, as an enthusiast of the travel industry, I've been really keen on keeping track of the TSA numbers of people traveling. So I've realized today was, I think 3 days in a row that there's been over 250,000 people traveling every day, which is about 90% reduction from the usual. But the last month has been like 97% reduction. So you start to see that little uptick in travel, and that gets me excited that hopefully we can get back to normal sooner than later, and travel will be a possibility to go explore new places.
That's awesome. That's really interesting. I hadn't thought about that kind of curve. Is it just openly available, like publicly available data, or is that just like?
Yes, it is actually. I think I just saw a random article on it, and then since then I've tracked the same one. So I can send you a link afterwards that each day he'll publish new numbers. But basically, as we see that go from 97% to 90% now, that hopefully it continues on that track to get back up to 100% of the levels that we've had a year ago.
Yeah, super interesting. Well, let's take a look at another random question. Ethan, what's something that you don't mind waiting for?
I do not mind waiting for. I would say Betty's hot dogs on Court Street, Big Mama's Union Street Grill, and Miller's Chicken. I think those are all great hot spots. University, the most beautiful campus in the world with the best food in the world, and those are just a few of many places that are absolutely worth the wait every time you go.
Was they Lucky's cheese sticks?
Yes,
definitely.
50-cent cheese sticks.
Definitely all about that. I'm trying to think about if there's what do I not mind waiting for? Usually food, I'm pretty good on waiting for food. And also things on I order on Amazon, I'm pretty good about waiting for them.
Nice.
I think the thing that I would say that I'm not cool waiting for, that I do mind waiting for, is Ubers and just that kind of transportation in general. I think that if there's one thing that I hate spending money on and that I really mind spending money on, it's Ubers.
Agreed. It's because it's always so much more than you're like, I could have just totally done this so much easier. Especially Athens is so cool because you can walk and cycle anywhere you want, that you don't have to Uber anywhere. That I think anyone who hasn't experienced that is really just spending a ridiculous amount on Uber.
And it's expensive. It can add up so fast. Come back from the airport and be $30-$40.
Without a doubt. And I like your point about the Amazon package, because I think that's something that I think everyone can identify with. The Amazon package, you don't really care about what gets there and when it gets there. You care about the experience of it seeing it in the process. You're watching, okay, it's at this point and this is when it's going to come. And you're involved in that process, So it's the journey, and then the destination. Once it gets there, you're like, I don't care. I could throw the package away. I just need to order another one.
That's pretty much what I do with everything that I order on Amazon. I just throw it away as soon as it gets here. I'm like,
me too.
I don't need this.
Sometimes recycle, but still, same.
Occasionally. Ethan, I'm very excited about this next game because it's not one that I can play with everybody. And the next game that we're moving into is weirdly specific would you rathers. And so because I know Ethan so well, I have put together some would you rathers that are hopefully somewhat challenging. And we're just going to see your thoughts. We're just going to get your thoughts on these different situations. Okay. So, Ethan, the first situation, or the first would you rather, is either you can only use an iPhone for the rest of your life, or you can use an Android or whatever other phone you want, but you have to get an I Heart iPhone tattoo across your stomach.
And just to disclaimer so everyone knows, I had no prior knowledge of any of these questions. So my comment last time on Tyler's question, Hayden had no knowledge of, and this was really his preemptive question for me. And that's a tough one. Now, as a very loyal Sony fan, I could not go away from them, but well, it says you can only use an iPhone. I was trying to think like, okay, I could own an iPhone and really like donate or something, then just use my Sony smartphone so that it would be okay.
I like that you're trying to logic your way through it. That's great.
But you ordered that carefully, but you can only use an iPhone for the rest of your life. Yeah, I can't do that. So I would do the Android and the I love iPhone tattoo, especially if the love is with a caret and a 3. You know, I don't want the actual heart symbol. It would have to be the caret and the 3. And I think that's because you can get tattoos removed. So I have to have that forever in the wording. So I would get that and then eventually get rid of the tattoo.
I should have thought more proactively about the wording that I was going to use in these questions, because I should have guessed that this was going to happen. Well, okay, that's good. That's good to know. That's good to know this hypothetical would you rather. Even the second situation is either you're a personal chauffeur for Bruce Willis and Charlize Theron, or you're MGK's personal pilot.
That's another great one. I've got to say, and Bruce Willis actually just shot a movie about a year ago in Granville, Ohio. My parents saw him while he was walking on the main street there. So I could have been his personal chauffeur during that movie. There's a real life example for that. Charlize Quastler, she is a great actress and she's had so many amazing roles, and I would love to be a chauffeur. But I'm going to have to go with MGK's personal pilot. I think that would be to just travel for tours across the world with him and his team and team and be able to see a lot of concerts and fly to some of the coolest places internationally and experience new places. So I think I'm going to have to go with that. I thank you for the creativity.
Place up. I got you. I don't know if it would have made a difference. I tried to think about a situation that could potentially counter being MGK's personal pilot, because I know how important that is to you. So I tried to throw Bruce Willis and Charlize Theron into the car along with I was like, well, obviously you're driving a 4Runner, but you probably already knew that.
Okay, good. I figured that. I wouldn't have thought anything else, because I wouldn't be able to chauffeur a limo or any bullshit like that. We would need the 4, preferably a third generation, maybe 02.
What about a 4Runner limo?
That would be interesting. I would give consideration. I think it depends how it turns out, because I'd say like the fourth generation 4Runner went away from the kind of the OG look of it, and it doesn't really look more like it looks more like a Pathfinder or some other, caveat. So I think the 4Runner, if the limo was able to keep that third gen look, I think we might be able to make that work.
Got it. I'm particularly excited about this next question. Ethan, either you can only fly Delta, or you can fly Southwest, but you have to fly naked and you can't bring any baggage with you.
Okay, that's a dilemma right there, because the Southwest is
nailed it.
Here knows, and By the way, Benny G is probably very much enjoying this question. He has literally called me before acting like a Delta Airlines rep, leaving me like a very in-depth voicemail saying that it's Delta customer service and I don't know, who knows what, that I want to trip somewhere and I can't fly Southwest. But that is, it's tough because you can only fly Delta or you can fly. So the other thing that makes this almost a little bit tougher is that Delta is actually is definitely my second favorite. So after South, that if it was United or American, I think the obvious choice would have been the latter, is fly Southwest naked, can't bring any baggage, whatever. We can find whatever I need at a place I go. Which that actually reminds me, there's it's called the Kindness Diaries that Southwest has partnered with. It's this one traveler who literally goes random places, videotapes his travels to new cities that he's never been in, and he doesn't bring anything, and he doesn't book any hotels, and he only stays at strangers' places that take him in, and then he documents it all. So I think I'll maybe contact him and try to do something similar. I'd probably have to have clothes somewhere. I'd buy those once I get to the airport. But I think Delta is Delta's a phenomenal airline as well. If it was American, I have to go with the latter. I think I'm going to have to say I could fly Delta for now, because I could still support Southwest by working for them and buying their stock and doing whatever else I can to support them. But then I could fly Delta.
Nice. I can always count on you for a very methodically thought out answer to a ridiculous question.
It was a good question. You've thought on your side.
Thanks for humoring me. I have to say that I had quite a great time coming up with these questions. I was like walking back from the UPS store today, and I was like typing them out on my phone, and I was like, oh my God, it's going to be so great.
That's awesome. Did you consult Patrick or Newman or anyone else, or was it just on your own accord?
No, I should have. This was just on my own accord.
Very well done.
This is just based on my knowledge of the team. So
very well done.
Well, Ethan, we have reached not the end of the show, but close to the end of the show, and that's the quote of the day.
Okay.
And so the quote of the day today is: a wise man makes his own decisions, an ignorant man follows public opinion.
Ooh.
Unknown.
Just a couple minutes. Let that digest. That is awesome. I love that quote. I think
thoughts.
That I absolutely love that quote. I think it's something that more people could absolutely benefit by. I think living that as a lifestyle, that quote is important. I think that's how if you make your own decisions, you hold yourself accountable and keep yourself responsible, and be selfless and help others. I think that's much better than following a public opinion of buying a damn Apple product because everybody else has it. I think that, and it reminds me of one of my favorite Winston Churchill quotes. Actually, is that there's published opinion, or there's no such thing as public opinion, only published opinion. And I've always loved that, because I'm like, who the hell says that something's a public opinion, right? Did you take a poll of every single person in the world and say this? And even then, who answered the poll? What's the sample size? Like, that's bullshit, right? That's a published opinion by media or news or something. So I don't think there's such thing as public opinion. I think it's the perception of the public opinion is really published opinion. So I really enjoy the quote. I thank you for that.
I was so close to putting that quote in here. I was so close. I literally spent like a good 15 minutes looking for quotes by Winston Churchill, because there was one that I like thought that I could have remembered. I don't know. Regardless, this is a great second, runner up quote. And I agree with you. I very much so agree with you. I think that, the what we consider public opinion a lot of times is rooted in fear, and is rooted in staying very small, and is rooted in inauthenticity and performance and doing it right, and not making any waves. And I don't think that's any way to live life. And I don't think that the things that we're all looking for as people and as humans are actually accessible through following public opinion. I think it actually requires you to be very intentional and thoughtful about how you live your life and how you show up. And it's likely going to be uncomfortable. And that's kind of the whole, it's the whole point of the game.
Absolutely. Well, very well said. I mean, that is spot on. And I'm glad to be with someone like you that lives that example, throughout his daily life. That's honestly impressive and inspiring. So we thank you for doing that.
Thanks, team. Well, team, we have reached the end of our show, which is parting words. So I know. Any parting words for the folks watching and listening, gems, words of wisdom to leave us with?
Yeah, I want to shout out Mama, Papa Quas, and Thaddeus and Rebecca. Yeah, I don't know if any of them are actually on, but
Good
just
peeps.
great people. And Lorenzio and Benny G and whoever else is watching. We appreciate you all, and I hope everyone else has a Moscow Mule with me, L'chaim, and I hope everyone has a great week. And I thank you, Hayden, for setting this up and inviting me and setting up all this entertainment for everyone who's watching.
Appreciate the heck out of you, team. Thanks so much for coming on. Man, great to connect and chat as always. And to everyone listening, thanks so much for being here. I will see you Friday with the next episode. Peace.